Now, thankfully for me, I have the majority of this video already recorded. This is just a little addendum. I think an addendum is something that you put at the end, but this is a predendum. I'm throwing in a little predendum. Something that I've been struggling with for a long time on YouTube is concern trolling. The thing that I really struggle with is not identifying concern trolling. The difficult part of it is when there are people who have authentic concern out there and the concern trolls are concerned over the same thing. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm giving in to the concern trolls by addressing, this segment of the population or this segment of my fan base who have genuine concerns. So I don't want to let the trolls inhibit my ability to communicate to my fans or people who are confused out there. So I want to talk about Creator Clash. I want to talk about the structure of the business and how it's changed over the years, and just sort of put to rest any of the lies that are being spread out there about Anissa, about me, and about the event. My main incentive for sharing this information is that I have felt extremely handcuffed by Creator Clash these past years because I'm not an expert communicator and I don't know how to convey things, not over communicate, not do all these things that potentially put the event at risk and put other people at risk. And that's kind of why I wanted to step away from this event. It feels like it's inhibiting my ability, like the business side of things, like inhibits my ability to communicate openly and effectively, especially when there's so many people counting on me to do that well. So it's a lot of pressure, and now that Anissa and I have stepped away from it, I want to just clear the air because I don't feel that same pressure that I did when I was part of the event. If you look into charity events, they come in so many different shapes and sizes, and there is really no format that is completely obvious for creator boxing plus charity. For the first Creator Clash, we had the business model of after everyone has been paid for the expenses of the event, all profits go to charity. That was the business model, and it was successful. Thankfully, it worked out the first year. Now, some people will be critical of one of the costs being parties for Creator Clash 2 and actually Creator Clash 1, because that's where we got the idea from. It was very successful for Creator Clash 1, or the event was successful. We don't know if the party worked to encourage people to promote the event, but that was the idea. You get a bunch of creators to show up to a fucking hotel the night before their fight, and they're going to post about it on social media, and the internet will be abuzz. And the event was successful, so we thought that strategy of having, a little hubbub, a little hullabaloo before the event and after the event was a good idea. So we ran with that strategy again, hoping that creators will post about it and be excited about it and buzz will be generated, but it didn't happen. Or maybe it did happen, but it just didn't sell tickets. I would cross that off my list as a learning experience of, well, if you do this strategy, you either gotta force people to post about it or you have to fucking, not do it. You gotta make sure that people are slapping each other during the weigh-in. That's probably what I'd change it to, because it's cheaper, It's a lot cheaper if people slap each other during the weigh-in. I just wasn't about that. I was just like, I don't want this fake drama shit. For the second Creator Clash, we used the same business model. This time we increased the budget, we had more fighters, we had a bigger arena, and more expenses in general. As a result of that, there were a lot more costs, and our ticket sales did not make up those costs. It seemed very obvious that this was not the way to run the charity boxing event. We told our business partners, we are not going to do this event again unless it can be promised to us that there was a way to guarantee money for charity. And the business model that was presented to us was what we're enacting, or what we did enact this year with Creator Clash 3. And that is, the for-profit side of the business is unincorporated with the charity aspect. So the charity partner is its own fundraiser that we sort of like push people to, before, during, and after the event. I think where some of the confusion is that many people don't understand how charity events operate, because to be honest, they're all very different. And with something like a charity boxing event, there's a lot of money that you have to front to put it on in the first place. And if you have an investor, you're able to do that. That investor is going to want money, they're going to want profit, but that at least gives you the initial funds to put on the event. There are other charity initiatives and events that allow people to spend money for a ticket and immediately get a product and also their money goes to charity. Those are usually big fucking conglomerates, giant companies that can afford that cost because they're selling you other things. Some people have an idea of charity events as being like a strictly altruistic thing where everyone is just sacrificing their time and energy and money for the charity. To put on a boxing event costs a lot of money. And even in other examples like GDQ, Games Done Quick is a charity event, but they're not like a charity themselves. You know, they run a business and they partner with a charity and they fundraise for the charity. They send people to the charity, and thankfully they have, you know, multiple ways of being paid and paying the people who are running the show. That might be through payment from the charity, that might be through their own like Twitch stream or merchandise. I just know that for a charity boxing event in the form of Creator Clash, there aren't too many ways to recoup your money other than ticket sales. And that was obviously the biggest challenge of the previous two events. When it does well, awesome. But when it doesn't, it's a huge problem. It remains to be seen whether the for-profit business side of the event will be successful. But the main controversy, I would say, is that it was revealed with the change of ownership that Anissa and I, because we're 1/3 ownership of Creator Clash, the business, that we were getting 34% of the profit share. We weren't anticipating this event doing well. Like, we wanted to do well enough to pay back the investors, of course. So that's one of the reasons that we were, you know, okay with the profit share thing. But another part of it as well is that the contract wasn't structured in a way that the profit share could just directly go to charity. It was told to us like you could just donate your portion of the profit share to charity after the event. So we were like, okay, fine. Now I know some people will find it hard to believe that Anissa and I were just gonna give our portion of the profit share to charity. There's nothing I could really say to, I think, convince them otherwise. It was up to our discretion at the end of the day, and if you don't believe us, I can't say anything that'll change your mind. I guess my only appeal is that year one, we made a bunch of money for charity, and I just got the fighters pay like everyone else. In year two of the event, we definitely got nothing. So yeah, having said all of this, I know that there's probably a lot of you out there who honestly don't care and you're just like, you want to see boxing or you just want to see regular videos. I get that. For my soul, I needed to communicate it. So yeah, that's a big relief for me. I mean, I'm very happy that, you know, this year money is being raised for charity, and I'm glad to know that it's already more successful than, than year two. Mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
I responded to his personal attack with a joke, and then he hit me with a concern troll.
From the right, there's a lot of concern trolling around small businesses.
This is the most boring kind of concern trolling.
Get Snoop Dogg and Tupac the concern troll.
Concern trolling. You need to address this issue, man, because you are offending the trans community. Shut up.
That is such poor concern trolling.
Lindsey Graham did a lot of concern trolling about this.
His concern trolling is empirically wrong.
Oh, dude, this is like the hardest concern trolling I've ever heard in my entire life, dude.
You don't answer to the concern trolls.
Concern trolling about homeless people.
This guy's an example of a concern troll.
Concern trolling about fairness.
They sit on the sidelines and they concern troll.
It's basically concern trolling.
There's a lot of people do concern troll.
Concern trolling.
As concern trolling.
Concern trolls.
Concern troll.
Concern trolling.
Concern trolling.
Concern trolling.
Quintessential concern troll.
That was some expert concern trolling.
Yes.
I've been working on my laugh lately. I'm trying to get it to a level where it's contagious. I haven't figured it out. I'll let you guys know when I figure it out. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of iDubbbz Complains. In the last couple of videos, I got a lot of comments. Now, I don't have time to read all 150,000 comments, but I also don't want to let down my audience, you know? I want them to know that I hear you. I hear your concerns, and I'm listening. I've put all 150,000 comments into the AI, and I told it to condense it down into a singular comment that is representative of the whole. My hope is that the one comment will perfectly represent a small fragment of everyone in the audience, so everyone is equally happy. Okay, hold on a sec. so I'm kind of lost. Who's Hassan again? But hey, it's cool to see a content cop after all these years. Still, I gotta say, something feels different, man. Did we lose the plot somewhere? I miss the old days, but whatever. Keep doing you, I guess. Anyway, peace out. I'm gonna go rewatch some Filthy Frank now. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of the one comment because I feel like it perfectly encapsulates a comment from like a normie viewer who maybe watched you 5 years ago, but you know, they don't keep up with the drama or anything. When I first started my research on concern trolling, I was trying to find scholars on the topic. I know it hasn't been around for that long, but I'm like, surely there's someone who is well versed in the art of the troll.
He's mastered that art of trolling.
To my surprise, the scholar on this topic is Anita Sarkeesian. Yeah, it's been almost a decade since like the Gamergate time, and go figure, the white guy 8 years later is like, I think Anita Sarkeesian was kind of onto something. There's a lot of assholes on the internet, and they're kind of misogynistic too, I think. It's crazy what a little CTE or the love of a woman will do to you.
Unfortunately, that's not the only species of concern troll out there.
The most obvious definition for concern trolling is when someone is pretending to be concerned about a particular subject or cause, when in reality, they don't give a fuck. They're just doing it to either get attention, start a fight, derail a conversation. To be honest, it's very effective, because back in the day, you could identify someone trolling pretty easily, and you can kind of scroll past it. They'd have a name like Shit is Fuckus, and they would say fake and gay. But nowadays it feels like the average troll is going to give you a paragraph or two, and you will not be able to identify straight away if someone is fucking with you or not. Do they hate me? Are they making a point here? Should I rethink my behavior? What the fuck? It seems like they'll oftentimes give you their fan resume to like prove that they're not just some random hater, right? They're not a troll or a hater. They're a fan who's been supporting you since the Kickstarter crap era. They've been supporting you since you made a NFT of your ball sack. I've been subscribed since the Overgrowth Let's Plays. Hello everybody and welcome back to more Overgrowth. Just want to say that this video really missed the mark. Hope that you can do better. Hope that you can do better is such a great thing to say. It's like, you're a piece of shit. Part of the reason I want to share this is because I know there are a lot of creators out there who have to deal with this on a regular basis. They have to be the ones to differentiate between authentic and inauthentic. And a lot of the time you just gotta fucking flip a coin or just ignore it outright. And it's really easy to say like, I would handle that really well because my policy is to not give a shit about any of it. But obviously, if you do want to have some sort of relationship with your audience or the internet in general, you do have to give some percentage of attention to what's being said online. That's going to be different for everyone. Now, some people might be worried that I'm giving new strategies to all the trolls out there, but don't worry, they already know these strategies. This is kind of like I think this is in all of us, right? Like, if you want some attention, you're going to figure out a way to get the attention. If you want to fuck with people, you'll figure out how to fuck with people. This isn't like some secret sauce, really. There's a few different strategies of dealing with concerned trolls. You can obviously, you know, try to look into their post history, and if they don't come across as credible, if all their post history is wiped, then you can just say, I'm gonna err on the side of you're trolling me. When I listen to Tim Pool, he has like a little bit of a theory on, you know, the left versus right and who is doing more concern trolling.
The right has their concern trolls, but it's rare. It rarely happens. On the left, it's endless because people like Patton Oswalt don't care about principle.
Now, I don't fully buy into what Tim Pool is selling here. You can kind of look at the political spectrum as like a spectrum of concern, and people on the left seem to be generally more concerned than people on the right. You can say that people on the right are mostly concerned about themselves. That might be like a fair assessment. If you're somewhere over here where Tim Pool's at, all you gotta do to concern troll him is take one step to the left. That's it. I think concern trolling is in the eye of the beholder. With this example, you have Tim Pool thinking that Patton Oswalt is being concern trolled by his audience, or a portion, maybe like a small segment of people.
This is what happens when you fall for this stuff. Patton Oswalt falls for it. He is a weak man.
But Patton Oswalt doesn't feel that way. You know, he sees it as authentic concern, which is why he addresses it in this Instagram post. By the way, the concern is basically just people were uncomfortable with his association with Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle did some transphobic or said some transphobic shit. But Tim Pool has such a fucking low emotional IQ that he doesn't realize it isn't a big deal to listen to what other people are saying and like adjust your behavior. It's all up to our own fucking discretion, right? Like if you aren't to the point, Tim, where, you know, you don't want to apologize for fucking anything, which by the way, it seems like that's a theme on your podcast, is basically saying like, I'm not a problem. But acting like that's the way the rest of the world needs to operate, it's like, I think Patton Oswalt is doing just fine operating the way he's operating.
Wallow in it. Okay, Patton Oswalt? Never tell an offensive joke again. Never cross the line again. Good luck trying to figure out where that line is. Good luck. You won't find it. You give in to the concern trolls and you will never work again.
It's so fucking funny too because Patton Oswalt has been doing comedy since Tim Pool was in fucking diapers. What the fuck are we talking about? Can we please, like, I don't know. It feels like people like Tim Pool love to appeal to like authority all the time. In this scenario, can we please appeal to authority or acknowledge that this guy has tremendous authority over you in the world of comedy?
Unless you think comedy is saying like, I went to a Jewish bakery the other day. They had bagels. Really good, really impressed with it. That's the comedy you're headed for. That's the joke South Park made, and even South Park has started pulling its punches. Let me tell you about the real world, my friends. Get woke, go broke.
One of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is because after the Content Cop, I noticed a huge influx of concern trolls. They're trying to impact things in the real world. They're trying to, you know, make people crash out, as I was kind of indicating in my video. But I will say, one of the concern trolls was super fucking obvious to me. They came into the Discord. I'll read you what they put so you can kind of get a vibe for what a concern troll might sound like. Now this comment is in reference to me saying that I think he needs a good ass whooping. What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. They say, just being for real, this line in the video was pretty strange. Red flag number 1. At worst, it's a call for physical assault. At best, it's very toxic masculinity-esque. It just comes across as parody, right? This was literally no one's concern ever. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. Either way, it doesn't seem to align with Ian's mentality towards being more progressive and against harassment. You see what I mean? It's trying to like insert like a little seed of doubt. Whoa, you might have been irresponsible here. You might need to take accountability for what you've put out on the internet. Never mind the point that you were making in the video. I think you need to repent for your call to violence. I don't think any creator should make that kind of statement unless they have a very good reason to do so, morally speaking. Because you never know what one of your fans might do. It's quite dangerous. I mean, to someone who hasn't been through the ringer of concern trolling, I'm sure this could, like, upset or confuse someone, but this is just fucking drivel. I honest to God just think his vid and the whole intention would have been better without that in it. I don't see why he said that. Ugh. Of course, this is a new user to our Discord, so no post history. So we gotta get creative. You reverse search the username, and you find that they have a Twitter. Their Twitter is suspended. The Blue Sky account, though, has tweets like, so how long until Destiny gets banned from this app? Hashtag DGG, hashtag Daliban, hashtag Destiny. Tankies are already terrified of arriving Daliban forces. Following back all liberals, hashtag DGG. Now the reason that these posts are relevant is because Destiny is quite famous for saying very unhinged, offensive shit, and he doesn't really seem to care that much about it.
Don't pretend like you care about mental health or any of that cringe shit. Just be based. Tell people to kill themselves. Make fun of people who are on SSRIs. Make fun of people who have depression or anxiety or GD. Just do that. Just embrace the I can't say the words on stream anymore. All the slurs and everything you used to. Just do that. Go full in on it.
Now I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that I don't think this user is actually worried about the language I'm using. I don't think that they're concerned about me being toxic masculinity-esque.
Make fun of people who are on SSRIs.
And I kind of don't think that they're worried about a call to violence. I actually think that they wouldn't mind me doing a call to violence.
Tell people to kill themselves.
So they actually might even be encouraged by a call to violence, if I had to guess, you know. I can only speculate based on hashtag Daliban, which is just some racist Twitter group. Ultimately, concern trolling is just saying something in bad faith. It's very similar to tone policing or sea lioning. But I didn't really want to talk about those because those feel different to me for some reason. Specifically sea lioning. That shit isn't even intuitive. You know, I've looked it up I think 3 times now and I still don't fucking... I mean, I get it. I just can't recall it easily. So in my mind, that means it's stupid. It's not working. I can't bust it out in the middle of a heated argument and say, you're sea lioning me. See, it's because you grew whiskers in the middle of this debate. That means you're sea lioning me. You started flapping your arms and going, oh, oh, oh. Therefore, you're sea lioning. I mean, there you go. It feels like 2 people getting into a shouting match is more an accurate descriptor of sea lioning than whatever the fuck it is. I think the least problematic part of being a concern troll is them taking a moderate position, potentially. Because at that point, you're just being a party pooper. Or like a killjoy. A buzzkill. Like, we're familiar with these types of people. They're just constantly reeling people in because they're worried that they're using, like, too crazy a rhetoric or they're getting a little too excited, right? And I think we all could use people in our lives to, like, reel us in a bit. The aspect of concern trolling that bothers me the most is the role-playing aspect. There isn't really a lot of incentive to not be anonymous online. There are some people out there who've made the unconscious choice to be like, my online profile is just an extension of who I am in the real world. And then there are all the people who consciously decide to stay anonymous. Now, for some of these people, it's just like, I want to be safe and I really don't want to take that plunge. Fair enough. But then there are the people who are like, not only am I not going to be myself, I'm going to be someone else. You know, I'm going to be someone else so that I could fuck with this community of people. Now, every time I see these characters, the image that pops in my mind is not like, oh, like you're a clever, smart guy who has infiltrated the opposing faction. You're like the spy in Team Fortress 2. It's like, no, that is a fantasy. What you actually are is you're like Steven Crowder in a wig at a women's only event, thinking that they're making some kind of grand point.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with all the frequencies of the feminism, and I am here at the Women's March in Austin.
We quickly found out that nobody questions, criticizes, nor runs security background checks on trannies.
Hands up our pussies!
The reason someone like Steven Crowder gets into this position is not because of his cunning. It's because people are like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo freak. I'm staying, 20 feet away from you at all times. Or I'm going to be a very non-judgmental person and I'm not going to ask any questions about whatever you got going on here.
We could get away with anything. Go anywhere, act any way we wanted, and we were really able to learn what today's progressive issues are all about.
And I guess in this case, it's a massive own. He's proven that people are tolerant of him. Having said that, I think we can end this video on a positive note. I'm proposing that fucking with people might be a way for some of these concern trolls to indulge in things and lifestyles that they never thought were possible because they're so opposed to them. So by pretending to be the very thing that you hate, you might actually gain some sympathy, or you might be like, oh, actually, the people in this community I kind of fuck with. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of iDubbbz Complains. I hope you enjoyed watching. I will put a Patreon link down below. I'm still cooking on what needs to be uploaded there, so don't expect content on there straight away. Thank you for all of your kind comments down below. I know that they're all going to be kind, just singular kind words like you rock, go you go, and shit like that.